Hey guys, Flo here. This is gonna be my first video for those looking to play the Slayer class. The following will be an overview of the Slayer kit along with my own personal opinion. If you're already familiar with how the class works, this video won't be for you, but don't worry. I'll be creating an advanced video another time. Now, the Slayer class can be best described as a mixture of having burst DPS along with strong mobility. The class excels at single target DPS and having large amounts of crit potential, making this the go-to class for PvE as well as being moderately played in PvP. So let's just think of it as the mid-ground of having the warrior mobility with the Berserker's burst. With that being said, let's stop here and just showcase what the Slayer class is really made of. Your basic attack is something you're going to use pretty often. It's your primary source of regaining mana, so don't neglect using it. Mana is something you'll need to watch out for, so try to slip in some basic attacks in the middle of all your skills, whether you're doing PvP or PvE. Evasive Roll is your best bet at avoiding any incoming attacks. Using it, your character will not be taking any damage for a few seconds. It's got a relatively short cooldown, so get the timing down and you'll master it in no time. You can also use rolling to help you get out of certain skill animations. Do note that different races have different speeds of rolling, so you can decide if having a longer dodge roll is something for you. Next up is Whirlwind. This is your first AoE skill. It's a high damaging skill that's split into 2 slashes. This will be one of your most used PvE skills despite being your first learned skill. You're definitely going to see yourself using this very often as there are special perks that bring this skill into the next level. Knockdown Strike is your next AoE skill. Its main purpose is to knock down all your incoming foes. It's got some moderate damage and at times, your enemies can't stop you from following through with the knockdown. Now don't forget that in PvE, you can knock down bosses. This can definitely help your team to lock down the boss and, overall, allow you to do more damage. Headlong Rush is your first gap closing skill. It has the added trait of speeding your next cast by 50%, so use this on slow starter skills such as Whirlwind and Knockdown Strike. Fit this often into your rotation and you'll definitely see some bursts come out. Overhand Strike is your bread and butter skill. This skill is what makes the very core of the Slayer kit. Casting it alone makes it go too slow, but luckily, it chains in almost every skill that the Slayer has. By putting the 50% reset glyph on, Overhand Strike will almost always be up for use. This reset is what makes you repetitively combo over and over and really dish that damage. In solo play, you can glyph it so it heals you every time it hits. So just imagine healing on a resetting skill. Triumphant Shout is one of 2 mana skills that you learn. You want to spam this skill off cooldown when you feel that you cannot get mana back through combo attacks. Tenacity is the bigger brother of the 2. It offers a bigger burst of mana and has the added perk of giving you 5 seconds of pure stun resist. Utilize this buff when you want to go ham in PvP, since, more often than not, you'll probably see yourself tanking stuns. Retaliate is your countermeasure when getting knocked down. Just hit spacebar. Simple. Startling Kick is one of 2 stuns that Slayers have in their kit. It is the more reliable stun in PvP and can potentially lead into a plethora of combos. Whether you wish to land bursts, knockdowns, or even stack stuns, it's purely up to you. Glyphing this skill for stun duration gives you those options to choose from. Piston Blade is a 3-shot range skill. You need to continue hitting the skill for more shots to go off. The 3rd shot offers the most damage, but puts you in an animation lock. Using 2 shots, however, gives you more room for a variety of combos, along with moving your character a little bit faster. Leaping Strike is your ground damaging skill, dealing 5 times damage on targets lying on the ground. That being said, however, it almost does no damage to standing targets. While the damage is moderate overall, Leap Strike is best used as a gap closer, so long as Overhand Strike is available. Stunning Backhand is the second of stuns that Slayers can execute. It is extremely short as a stun and best serves as a filler in PvE, but doing more damage in PvP. Just make sure you have Overhand Strike available, else the skill kinda seems pathetic. Fury Strike is your wildcard skill. It places a healing debuff on your opponents, making it harder for them to heal from incoming damage. It also does more damage the lower HP you have. That doesn't mean you should stay at low HP exactly, but the option is definitely there. Plus, if you're lucky, you can hit juicy ass crits once in a while. Hart Boss is the very essence of Slayer Burst. Learning to aim this skill is the key to being a good Slayer. Try landing this skill on still or stunned targets and you'll probably come out successful. Glyph this skill for resets and you can potentially shoot out burst after burst, making your overall damage output just skyrocket. Exhausting Blow is a PvP oriented skill. Its main purpose is applying a debuff on a target, which increases their cooldowns by 50% across the board. It'll still do damage in PvE, so you do have the option of using it. Overpower is a great self buff. It boosts your next attack by 30%. There are unique glyphs that are ideal for PvE, which can further boost the effect of this buff. Any attack, however, can use up the buff. Be aware this can include your combo attack. Defer slash your Whirlwind and retaliate. Thus it is ideal to use a burst skill following the buff, such as Hart Boss. The Slayer backstab is unique, where it applies a root on a set target. Take full advantage of being behind your target and apply as much burst as possible. You're not out of the woods just because you land a skill though. There are plenty of ways for people to avoid it. Though, at the same time, there is some magic you can pull with backstab, so make sure to get some practice. In Cold Blood is your Hercules buff, giving you 26 power and 10% PvP damage. Use this buff when you need to burst those bosses and use it when you want to go hard in PvP. Just remember to go all out, you've got 30 seconds to step up your game. Measured Slice is your last skill learned as a Slayer. It's initially slow but can be sped up when chained with Overhand Strike. This is your second knockdown skill, which happens to dish out some pretty big AoE damage. This being in your arsenal, you're tempted to save it for those bursty moments, and you have the option of knocking down opponents repetitively. For those truly eager to have this skill execute, you can cancel out your overhand prior and connect it right into Measured Slice. Well, that pretty much wraps the video up here. Thanks for taking the time to watch this footage. If you found it helpful in any sort of way, or maybe you're looking for something new, feel free to like the video, subscribe, or comment down below. I really want to see what you guys have to say. For the most part, I had a lot of fun making this video, and who knows, next time it'll be Reaper, Lancer, Archer, and maybe some Baraka teabagging. Catch you guys next time.